What's up?
Howdy, howdy. There you go, Jeff. We're on now.
Yep. Come on, Jeffrey. You got to be the
Jeff,
first one to.
overachiever. He's like, I'll get here 30 minutes early until you were late.
Oh, Stefan beat him
Yeah,
on the live side.
yeah. What up, Stefan?
Goot.
Oh, man.
Y'all need
Struggling.
to wake up. Wake up. Get on here. Not you. You
Yeah.
gotta go to bed.
Yeah. When you electricity's beeping every 2 seconds at you all night long, you struggle. Struggle bus is real.
Well, at least it didn't go out for a long time. So
Yeah,
good.
which I got a generator for that now. We made that mistake one year. Like, generator now. Let's go.
You got one that automatically kicks on, or
No, I got it where it, like I got
just-
to plug in
you
the
gotta plug-
garage,
yeah.
plug it up.
yeah,
So
cool.
what
What's
up,
up,
Nick
Nick?
Frank? Stefan. Yeah, we
Anyway,
got a good show tonight. Good
yeah,
one.
we got a good show. Andy's tired, so we're gonna get going on this thing. But anyway, got a good guest tonight. We're just gonna go ahead and bring him on here. But
Do
Mr.
it.
Adam Jones, what's up, brother?
What's up, fellas?
Adam Jones.
Adam Jones, Mike
Going
Jones.
Mike.
He
Yeah.
in Texas, so he doing the Adam Jones.
What's up,
What up,
Corey?
Corey?
Oh man, but yeah, you're we were talking before the show, so you're out chasing hell for a little while right now, and
Yes, sir.
enjoying that fun little time there.
It's great. It's
I
great.
really am, Daniel. I'm always tired. You are correct, sir.
Yeah, he's been so busy this year that he's tired every week. Which video kicked out for 30 seconds.
What?
So I don't know.
Jeff said I almost missed the show. Yeah, he was almost too early for it.
Anyway, so yeah, if you want to, Adam, if you want to give us a background of how you got started into PDR and kind of lead up to where you are now, you got the floor, buddy.
Sure, man. Yeah, I've been a collision industry guy for 30 years, and I saw kind of where that was going when DRPs came out. I mean, I'm an old guy, so I've been doing it for a while, and when I got into it, there was no DRPs. So, so I had kind of like I would see some of the PDR guys coming through the shops, and watch them. Like, that's really intriguing. I gotta learn that. You know what I mean? It just, even if it just helped me fix dents,
Yeah.
just because that was probably the hardest thing that I learned was being a body man. That was like the last thing I learned was to straighten something. Everything I did was like frame stuff and mechanical and all the hard hit stuff. And then it got moved on to the other helper, and he did all the straightening work. And then so then I would watch, these guys fix these dents, be like, God damn, what's he doing that? And and there was some, and they were always really nice. If you guys know Dave Johnson, he was one of them who would come into the shops, and Jim Adams, so it was like watching, just like, can I watch? Like, yeah, you can watch, but they pull their earbuds out and bullshit with me for a little bit. And,
You talking about Dent Wizard Dave Johnson?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Dave's awesome. I love that dude.
Yeah, great guy, right? And I think he's probably the first guy I saw, fixing dents like that. I was like, I gotta watch it. Because up until then, I think I'd only seen like Maryland got hit one time. They had a really bad hailstorm, and I was in a dealership, and of course all the tents went up, and we weren't even focused on those guys. Those guys were hammering away, and there was so much work that the body shops were flooded with hail jobs too. So we were just straightening everything, mudding the roofs up and stuff if we weren't replacing panels. And so when Dave started coming around to some of these shops, I was like, yeah, I gotta learn that, So then, I did what everybody does. You get on YouTube, right? It's the first thing body man does. You get on YouTube, and check it out. You see if you find Mike Toledo's stuff, and just anything and everything that that's on there. I try to watch and try to learn from it, and go to work the next day, and I'm like, all right, I can fix that dent. and I had one like forged slow bend, probably like 24-inch rod that I confiscated from my father. He was a body man, and that's what I picked everything out with that. I couldn't grind the paint off of the dent and then use those pin welders. Couldn't see it. Had to see it. So it just got harder and harder for me to straighten stuff when they came out with those things, because we were drilling holes in panels and just using knockers and pulling dents out. That's the way we fixed them, right? That's the way you did it. And so when that went away, that was a no-no, they came out with those stud welders, and and they were like, yeah, you just grind all the paint off, you just put all these pins in it and pull it. I'm like, there's a lot more just to doing that, because then you can't see the dent, like where the hell you're putting the pins at. So so it was like, I got to figure out a better way, and then, like I said, you see these PDR guys coming in and fixing something. So that's what I started doing. I just started doing that, and they were horrible. They were all poked up, but they were I could get them flat like that, just all poked. And then we just grind it all off and then put body.
What year did you start doing that?
The PDR part of it, or I'm going to say probably late 90s, early 2000s, and somewhere around there, early 2000s.
So it's been a while.
I mean, I like
can't even pay drill and bill. We're getting all the.
Well, I mean, dude, I'm the OG caveman. Yeah, that's right.
Your boy John's on, by the way.
There he is. We're rooming together. He's in.
Oh, nice.
Listen, he is a great guy. He took a chance on me. You know what I mean? Just Vincent started it. Vincent, contacted me and said, "Hey, what's up, Ryan?" Said, "Hey, John's going to be, he's coming back. He's got a broken collarbone. He's going to need somebody to help him out." And I gave him your info. So he called me, and it was like, "Hey, can you supply any time?" I was like, "Yeah." So I was just doing whatever, like I said, 4 days in the body shop and working whatever I could with him. So
Vincent said, "Hey, that's me."
That's it. He knows. Yeah. Well, before I moved to Florida, man, it was like, we had traveled down here a couple of times, me and my wife, just like on excursions, like just take a 4-day weekend, drive down, check an area out, and then maybe it's a little, maybe not for us. And it wasn't until once my daughter graduated, I was like, I'm done. I can't take the cold no more. You know what I mean? It was like, let's go. So that was a tough decision too. Moving to Florida. It took a while. So
were you in that Baltimore? Was that where?
Yeah. I was born and raised in Baltimore.
Okay.
And then
you a Ravens fan?
No, I'm not a sports fan. I fish and hunt. Man. I don't worry about sports stuff.
All right, where's Nadu at? He needs to join on the show since we have another hunter on the show, baby. Andy will zonk out here in a minute when we start talking about hunting.
Yeah, I'll be like, y'all have fun.
Yeah. I don't do a whole lot.
Made me cry.
It's more fishing. Yeah, I do more fishing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you're in the area for it. So
yeah. If I want to move to Florida, right? And move to Florida and take my big boat down there, and that's what I want to do.
Nice.
Yeah. If you're gonna live in Florida, you got to fish.
Yeah.
At least here in South Alabama, we can fish and then drive an hour north and we can hunt.
Right.
So,
well,
we're not totally surrounded by water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's still. I think there's still some like leased properties in like St. Augustine and stuff like that. And there's hogs everywhere. So
hogs, a lot of turkey.
Yeah, they do a lot of turkey and stuff. But you know what? I mean, it was fun when I was younger.
Like golf.
And, like golf. Yeah, I used to play golf too. I used to do all that.
Civil War. It may be coming. Who knows?
We ain't even gonna talk about that shit.
I'm surprised Matt hadn't noticed my hat. I was waiting on it. I wasn't even gonna say anything. I was waiting on it.
I know, right?
But
I got my Wednesday shirt on.
Nice.
I love that shirt.
That's a great
There
shirt.
you
Nice,
go. That's
nice
a
and
good-looking
soft.
hat. Yeah, this is Matt's logo.
Oh,
Golf burns a ton of calories when you're walking. Like if you're like me, pull right up
Yeah.
to the ball, even if it's on the
Yeah.
green. Be like
Yeah,
Donald
you
Trump.
you gotta work. You gotta walk it, right? You can't drive that car. You gotta walk it.
I'm a
carry
driver.
it back.
Actually, I'm a rider. I'm even
Drive.
too lazy to drive. I let Gavin's my driver. I sit back, look for balls in the woods.
I play golf like once every 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing something.
Yeah, we got back into it. My son got into it and stuff last summer, and we hit it heavy. And this summer, I hadn't played much, maybe twice, but that was my getaway. Working 7 days a week, I'd finish on the weekend like half a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's go and
Take off and
yeah,
put the rock in the hole.
Yeah, I love it.
we're in
It's
the
my
woods.
getaway with me and Gavin to go out Sunday mornings and play.
The woods, the water.
Chill.
I played in September at a course I hadn't played at since I was in high school. Dude, I bought a box of brand new balls before we teed off. And by the time I got back to the clubhouse after the front nine, I bought a whole nother box
Not the
of
whole other
balls.
sleeve, right?
I'm like, it's the worst I'd ever played in my life. It was horrible. And,
That's why I don't play a whole lot,
Yeah.
right? Because I can go out and play really good the first time, and then if
Yeah.
I keep playing, then I keep overthinking everything, and then right, I'm in the tree, I'm in the woods, I'm in the.
it depends
the
on how
wall.
much you drink too, because that day I probably had too many.
There's that line. It's like bowling and golf's got that line of
Yeah.
fear to golfing or bowling ratio. Once you cross
Right.
over, you're screwed. If you don't
Yeah.
get there, you're screwed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun day though. Anyway,
That's all that matters.
so did you when did you go full time into PDR?
2 months ago.
Yeah, he's fresh.
Oh,
That's why I
okay.
said he jumped in
I
head
was-
first. He went straight in.
Yeah,
the
but I
head.
didn't know if you went from like if you worked for the Wiz and then you talking about jumping in head
No,
first, like
no,
going out on your
I'm-
own. But
No,
Oh.
I'm self-taught, so I did kind of like I just spent years doing it the wrong way. You know what I mean? It was, like I said, it was a lot of YouTube stuff. But I had all the cars I wanted to work on.
yeah,
Because everything that came in, especially if they were just straightening repairs, then I was like, all right, I straighten it. And one of the guys who was like, yeah, you got to have a light. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's same thing, But I would take and use natural reflection. I'd like stretch a airline out on the floor, and I'd use that as my line.
all right,
And
Sal Contreras. That's how he loves that
Natural
reflection.
reflection.
and listen, I mean, it worked. It worked for trying to make sure I could see the tooltip and stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's still tough, and like I don't try to do it now. So I just did that YouTube, and then I signed up for Dent Time. I went through like all his videos a couple times, and was had practice panels in the shed, and like I said, all the cars at work. That's how I'd fix, and then got to a point where then Jim Mitchell was starting to get big, and then I joined that Real World. And that was a big help. He has a lot of good content.
I always
And,
say he can explain things really well too.
Yeah.
It makes sense
Yeah.
the way he explains the repairs and stuff.
yeah. And he had his first workshop I attended. It was kind of like I was getting to the point, like I was really starting to get serious. I'm like, you know what, this body shop thing it's just going down the freaking tubes. I'm not fast. I'm not a fast dent guy, and I wasn't a fast body guy. Average. I had more concern about, I would think if I'm fixing this car, like I did a lot of smash stuff. So it's like, if I'm fixing this car, I'm going to be able to put my family in it and it's safe.
Mhm.
And that's the way I fix things. And I took a lot of flack. It was like, we're going to get this done. I'm like, look, I'm flat rate. I know I got to get it done. It'll get done when I'm done with it. When I feel it's right, then I'll ship it to you. You know what I mean? And that's the way I worked for the longest time. as I got older, like I took, it was like it was the body shop business for me was good, but it was also rough. Like I didn't go around and kiss ass and beg for work. I didn't do any of that. I mean, you hired me for a job. I'm here. I'm sitting in that stall. If I'm not doing anything, and you come out and say, "Why are you not doing anything?" Well, you're the one hands out. I don't hand it out. Why you have me sitting here and doing nothing? Pretty much, you know what I mean? And it was all, and there's always a golden child in the shop,
Mm-hmm.
so that somebody's getting fed to work. And so I just kind of got to the point where I was like, you know what? I did a lot of jumping around. I've been to a lot of body shops. As I got older, it was kind of like I'd last longer and longer in these shops, and I put up with a lot more. But I get to the point where, like when I moved to Florida, like, hey, I don't do this and I don't do this anymore. Well, if you're a body man, I can do this. You can call managers and get all the good references. I mean, they'll tell you. I'm just not into doing any of this other stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And it's, I got away from doing mechanical work because that starts getting more and more complicated. There's more and more, tools that you have to use. So it was like, I made more money doing just body work, where years ago it was like, oh, I got 45% of the mechanical rate. We were making more than the mechanics made, so you did it. Right. You had,
Yeah.
It was like, it was where you made a whole bunch of money because some of it was, was real easy. Some of it was hard, but some of it was easy. The mechanics hated it. But I didn't care. Should have been a buck man, right?
Right.
That's what I looked at it, right? You wanted to make more. I think I was getting the top mechanic was getting like 23. I was getting like $37 an hour to do mechanical work. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then people get greedy, and then that all stopped, and we went from being like flat rate techs to like we're flat rate pay. We're not giving you a percentage anymore. We're just giving you a base pay.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, yeah, it's time. It's time to start, figuring something else out, and then get out. And so it's been like 8 or 10 years in the making. Like I've been going through this,
Wow.
So it was, yeah. I mean, it wasn't. This has been, you always hear you should get training, and don't, and
Yeah.
and it shortens the curve. It does. There's no lie about that. It does. And I'm a slow dent guy. I mean, I'm like the guy. I'm working
quality's there. That's all that matters.
I'm working with John and 2 other guys, and I'm just trying to keep up. That's what I'm doing. So.
Well, John said you're a freaking animal and should have jumped in full time years ago. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's saying a lot. I mean, you may not think, but I'm slow, compared to when it comes to hell. Look, I've got my pace. Yeah, sometimes I can be pretty fast, but when you get around these guys that's all they do is push hell.
Right.
And do it at high quality. John Yeager, freaking fly through it. That's what they do.
Right.
Me, I deal with big, nasty dents. That's my forte.
Yeah.
So we're all different, but yeah, as long as the quality's there, anybody that's ever worked for me doing hell and stuff, I'm like, I don't care how fast you are, as long as I don't have to go behind you.
Right.
You're doing high quality work because it's my business name on this. That's all I care about.
It's a conversation I had with Kyle when he came down. He's like, I'm not fast. I was like, as long as it looks good, I don't care. Like, we'll get through this. I'll book them out as long as I need to. That's not an issue. Just let's not have them coming back because dents are missed or whatnot. And he's
right
held up to it. So
yeah, well, when I think it was like the first day or two when I went down and he had some work for me to do, and I was like, look, if there's something you see that I'm doing wrong, because I've never had anybody looking over my shoulder, saying no, that's not, you shouldn't be doing it that way. You should,
yeah,
do it. I said, I got thick skin. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. And for a couple of weeks, working down in his shop, and he was, hey Cliff, what's up? Yeah, here's another great guy, right? Just call me. I retire from bodywork. Hey, call me. Like now? He's like, I was at John's shop at late at night fixing a hail car. He's like, yeah, call me now.
Yeah.
Just like you don't get that in the body shop. That's what this industry. There's drama in any industry, but you don't get this kind of back and forth with with guys. Like I have like maybe two body men that I'm friends with over 30 years. And one's not a body man anymore. He lives out in Colorado, Crested Butte. I guess that's Colorado. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just like you don't have that interaction. Like body man want to stab you in the back just for that next job. Like this is I'm not used to And he says I'm an animal, but like that's all I know. Like all I've ever done is work. You know what I mean? I can get up in the morning, go to work, try to support my family. And that's how I was raised. You know what I mean? It's like we got up. My dad was a body man. My dad got up early in the morning, went to work. I did the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going in at 5:30 in the morning and working until 6:30 at night, and you know what I mean, and just to get shit on, right? I'm just a number. You know what I mean? And then it was like, and I did that for years, and then as soon as I learned how to do PDR, it was like, you can't do that to me. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? It's like, and
there's a lot of phenomenal techs that came out of the body shop. You got Cliff here, you got freaking Jack, you got Corey Nichols, you got all kinds of them. Stefan's working his way up there. Yeah. He's not great yet, so I didn't throw his name out there. He's gonna be there, but
he's gonna be there.
Get out now.
Nick
right?
Priest,
yeah, get out. There's like, I was so scared. You're here. I don't
feel heat.
I don't look, dude. I did listen.
Texas in summer.
I don't know. I'm goofy like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't. I've worked in a hot shop for 30 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I never go sit in the air conditioning to eat lunch. It's so I'm just used to it, and I'm not going to say I like. I'm 51. So back when I was 46, I was 5'8" and 240 pounds, right? So I had some life-changing shit go on, and I lost 75 pounds, and it just doesn't affect me. I don't, and I've kept it off. Like I did, everybody was doing the 75 hard. You were doing the 75. I kind of did like a modified version, and just kind of fit my schedule, and then that's what I did. You know what I mean? And it just, and it was kind of like a lot of, when you get older and they're like, oh, you want to put you on medicine for cholesterol. So I'm not doing it. I'm on blood pressure medicine. That was enough. And so they was like, all right, we got to do this. So that's what I did. And I just managed to stay 160, 165 and just eat. It's just all diet stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've got to get back doing something. My goal is very soon. I was hoping last Friday to start and this week, but then we had stuff. Father-in-law ended up having to have open heart surgery and a bypass, so we were there all weekend, and then just kind of dealing with that, getting him situated back home right now, and then I'll
is he okay? Is he good?
Yeah, he's good. He last summer he had a knee replacement. He's a heavier set guy, but he needs both knees replaced. But they did the EKG and a stress test last year to make sure that his heart's fine for the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he couldn't physically do a physical stress test, so they inject him at his heart rate. That way. Yeah. So everything showed good. He had the knee replacement. That part was a bad experience whatsoever. Well, he went last week for a checkup, and he told the nurse, he was like, I've been having some chest pains, and so they were doing the EKG and stuff, and luckily one of them called for a CT scan of his heart, and his widowmaker was 99.9% blocked.
Oh my God.
His heart had created corrugated veins around his heart, making blood go around naturally. That's the only reason he was still alive.
Jeez.
And so they Thursday morning he had a heart cath done, and if they could, they would put a stent in there. But when they got to it, they decided not to, and to do open heart surgery and do bypass, which was literally the whole surgery. Friday when it finally happened was only like an hour and a half, and then took them about an hour and a half to put him all back together.
Right.
But only took a mammary, a vein from his mammary. Didn't have to take one out of his leg. Did a bypass. Doctor, everything was great, and he was home Monday afternoon.
Oh, that's good.
It was good, but it gets you thinking.
I just went through all that, so I was close to having all that done.
Oh
yeah, I mean, I had issues earlier this year and stuff that kind of scared me, and they did all that, and everything was fine, but I still have. I mean, I think it's all tied to high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And so
I think we had this conversation.
Could have, but it just gets you thinking, man, and how much we need to. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing 75 hard or something to get me jump started again.
And that's hard too. Like I've been saying it for weeks since I've been out here. It's like I need to just go join the gym, and like I've never been to a gym. I mean, I've never worked out in a gym. It's all body weight exercises at home and running on a treadmill or running around the neighborhood. And so, but like out here, I'm like, it's probably just easier to just go to the gym. And there's
I've got a gym here. That's
what I'm saying. I got weights. We got weights here, and it's like,
and I'm like, I just can't motivate myself to get out there.
Right. It's been like 2 years. I'm not gonna lie. It's been not since I've worked out, but I was doing a lot of running. I was running like 5 miles a night. But yeah, it's just tough to get motivated for it sometimes. But like I had, and the stress gets you, you know what I mean? Like you said, right before Christmas, I went up in the hospital, right? Chest pains, right? Like driving home, like what's that? Why does that feel like that? Like I was fine all day, you know? And I took myself to the emergency room, had my wife on the phone and was like, hey, I'm having a little chest pain. I might, go and get myself checked and, check my blood pressure and because it was going up. Like I didn't know, so it just kept going up. I was just going to go just get it checked, whatever, So of course, when you go to the emergency room, they put you in a room, they're going to hook an IV to you, and take blood just to make sure you're not having a heart attack. And, put an IV in. I didn't even put the IV in. It's like I'm scared of needles, right? Like I'll pass out.
I hate needles.
Right? I hate needles, right? So I didn't look. She was really good. Then she put IV in, and I didn't realize it. And she's like, "Oh, you're gonna get a chest X-ray, and then I'm gonna flush your IV." And when she flushed the IV, it made me nauseous. So in my brain, I was like, "Oh my god, what the hell was that?" Like, and I said to the X-ray guy, I said, "I'm going to pass out." He's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I can feel it coming on. I'm going to pass out." Well, when I passed out, I flatlined for like 30 seconds.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So, and I've passed out before, never in the hospital. So I was already hooked up to the machine and everything. So and my wife's on the speakerphone, like she's listening. I then yelling.
Oh shit!
So she was driving home, and getting ready to come to the emergency room, and I woke up and it was like, here's the ER doctor. It's like, hey, so has that ever happened to you before? And I was like, what? Pass out? Yeah, I pass out all the time, right? Like I'm scared of needles. What do you want me to tell you, right? And he's like, no, you kind of
died,
kind of flatlined there.
Flatlined there for like 20 to 30 seconds.
You died a little.
Three more days in the hospital, right? And I had to go through all that same stuff, CT scanning, and they didn't want me to run on a treadmill because they were afraid of giving me a needle that I would pass out. They didn't want me to pass out while I was on the treadmill. And then, so I had to go through the whole thing, the nuclear medicine, and they get your heart racing and check everything. So it all, and then they rushed me down for a CAT scan, and it was, I got like 20% blockage, which is nothing, right? And so like, no, you're fine. Like there's nothing, if it was serious, because then, before they have all the results, they're like, oh, well, if it's this, then we have to take you to the other hospital and we're going to take it, put a stent in. And I'm like,
and the stress level just keeps going.
My wife was so mad because she was home with my daughter, and I'm telling, I'm just like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, this is what's happening. Like, and there's no results. Like, no, I guess I'm just going to have to worry about it all night, So it's like, that's, So
what did they figure out?
Vasovagular disease or something like where Vincent Wilhite knows what it is. If he chimes in,
can he spell it?
I don't know the exact word for it. All I know is like my stupid brain kicks over and makes me pass out. And, it doesn't matter how hard I try to breathe and like work through it. Once my brain takes over, it's like you're done.
Wow.
But
Do I?
Come on. But what was
Don't
did they figure out the issue of why you went? Like
No.
blood pressure was going up high, or
No. So like, so the whole time I'm there, blood pressure's totally normal, like it normally is. Like from all the exercise, it's always like 118 over 72, or so it's always really, it's been good. Like it wasn't like that, before exercising and all that, but so it was always like a standard. Blood pressure was really good, and the nurses were like, no, it's normal, there's nothing wrong. So it's just stress. That's stress from the body shop. Stress
from
from
killer, man.
stress from having to run back up north for the holidays. Stress from having to get back from up north to the holidays to go to Disney for a week. It was like there was all this stuff just kept piling up, and it was like, like, oh, you got like severe gastro stuff, like you got a fart. You really got a fart. It caused my chest pain. You know what I mean?
I have no issue with that.
That's what they tell you, right? I mean, that's what they tell you.
You need to fart more, and
they'd be like, "No, you good, homie. You farted enough."
Well, when I was apologizing to the people in the ER because that's all I was doing. It was like, I was like, I got this really bad bout of gas. It's like all of a sudden, and they were just like, "Oh, you're fine. And then I passed out. Then I wasn't fine. And it was like, "Nope, we're gonna take you upstairs and put you in a room for a couple of days." So,
no, look, I stink so bad I made myself pass out.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's wild.
I don't recommend it. It's not. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. But
right. I plan on. I'm gonna, after we get back from vacation next week, we're gonna at least start eating better and then try to do something else. It ain't gonna be no damn 75 hard again, Brandon. But
well, I'm just doing it by myself. But I got, like, the first time I did it, I was just like, I'm starting tomorrow, and I was all in, and it was great. And I've tried to do it, like, started a couple of times since, and I get through the first day, and I'm like, next morning.
Yeah.
It sucks.
But no, I've got to do something.
You got to make it 21 days. That's what they tell you. 21 days, and it's a habit. So it's tough.
Nah, bullshit. I was on day 74. It's like, God dang, come on.
The first few weeks were fine, and then you kind of, then it hits you like a little struggle bus, and then you're fine again, and then towards the end, like in the 60s, it kind of hits you again, but you got to push through it, and then it was fine. But me, I've got to start. I've got to do something. It's not necessarily cardio. I've got to just.
It's just a total lifestyle change, and I'm not preaching about it, but I mean it is. It's tough.
I gotta at least eat better. Like, we're bad about DoorDashing and all that shit. All the calories getting from DoorDash, fast food.
See, we don't do any of that. You know what I mean? We do a lot of it's funny because I went from like being very picky about what I ate to all of a sudden my taste buds change. I eat everything. So it doesn't matter what it is. But I mean, it's still like I don't eat. I just eat I just stick with fish, chicken, and vegetables and fruit, and then I do, like give up the pizza. You give up everything you love, and then you kind of like redo everything and figure out what's going to work. But
I saw where Vincent had said, gas can actually cause chest pain.
Yeah, it does.
Well, so after my last heart surgery when I was 15, I remember for that whole next year, I would get gas bubbles up here and then make it where I couldn't take a full breath. And eventually it would pop and I'd be able to take a full breath. And they were like, it's just common because, of course, all that was broken up, chest open and all that kind of stuff. So, I've dealt with that. And then my adult life, it's happened a few times. And I know my heart. So I know if I start having a lot of AFib where it's just like somebody jumps out and scares me, and my heart just and then it goes fine.
Mine does that too.
I'm drinking way too much caffeine at the time, and I cut it out and just stick with water. Then it's fine. But no, this last little thing was still AFib, but it was a slow heartbeat and just pounding. And I never had high blood pressure, but I'm like, I know my heart, something's not right. We were out of town. When we finally got back, I called my heart doctor. I was like, I've got to come in. But they ran every damn test you can think of, even did the calcium CT scan, which I scored a 0 on, so I have no blockage.
Right.
The EKG, the stress test. Stress test was even better than the last time I went in 2019. So I'm like, they're like, your heart's strong. And then they put me on metoprolol or whatever you want to call it, beta blocker for it. And then I haven't been on that for probably 3.5, 4 weeks. And I think it helped me in the beginning, and then it made my heart, just because it'll make your heart beat slower. Right. And I think I went back to normal, and then that was making my heart slower. So now that I've been off of it, I feel way better.
Way better, right?
Like it helped me, and then I think it was kind of hurting me. So
Vincent said try carnivore. Vincent, man, I'm a country boy. I gotta have my taters. You can't get a country boy away from taters.
I like tots.
James cracked me. He said they say if you can give up red meat and sweets, you can get rid of any joys you have left in life.
Yeah,
it made me laugh out loud. Yeah, exactly. No problem, James. I got you.
My thing is trying to do diets is that, you have your wife and kids that are still sitting there, getting fast food or whatever when you're trying to do it. And that was one of the hardest things in the beginning on the 75 hard,
right?
Was me sticking to that. And then them, I can't have sweets.
Not sticking to it. Right?
Yeah. I'm like,
I'd say it'd be harder for me to do it by myself, because that was the one thing that probably helped me push through was our team. We had all doing it together and kind of pushing each other along. If I had to do it by myself, I'd be real quick to be like, nah, I'm out. No accountability.
Yeah. My daughter, she's the only one that eats really fast food stuff. My wife she doesn't eat that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Vincent, I think James is hitting on you, buddy.
Yeah. Well, let's get into your personal life a little bit. We've touched on it with your healthy decisions and all that, but let's talk about
that was the greatest decision, right? There was, when meeting John, I had never met him, you know what I mean? He was out chasing hell, and it was I tried to I didn't want to be that guy that came into the new area and just kind of, started going to everybody's spots. So I was friends with Eric Jacobson. He lives in St. Augustine.
Hello, Eric.
Kind of talked to Matt, and then talk with with Vincent and stuff, and just try to see where everybody was, make sure everybody was on the same page. I didn't want to I try to just stick to retail. I had one used car account when I first moved there, and that guy was never there, so nobody would ever authorize anything. But when I would go walk a lot, on a certain day, all the cars
were look at there,
half-ass fixed. There he is. That's my buddy. Yeah, and those guys are great, man. They're they send me work, tell people, well, Adam's in Palm Coast, go, give him a call. I get calls, and they're like, hey, Envision sent me, I'm like, okay, and I do the same for them. Especially, it's kind of, it's I don't feel like riding all the way up into his area. It's the only time I do that if it's somebody referred me, like a friend said, hey, a friend of mine's needs the dent fixed, and can you go fix it? And so that's pretty much the only time I do that. And I never did that. I never ran into any body shops. I just kind of was, my deal in the body shop was I worked in the body shop, and it was John's account, and I didn't go really write anything. I just kind of did whatever, I could write on the cars I was fixing. I tried to sell some dent repair on that, and then they would take in and say, okay, yeah, you could, they'll fix it, whatever. But they still, called him and his guys for hail stuff, and I never got any of that, but and that's kind of once because I was only doing 4 days a week there, you know what I mean? It was just like, that was the deal. Like, I'm only working 4 days, and then just help me sell some of the PR on the jobs I'm fixing. So they were good with that. And then the managers changed at the beginning of the year, and then the guy had his buddy in the shop, and luckily I met John, right? And John was like, "Hey, I need this," and so it was kind of, and I love it. I mean, it's hard, but it's nowhere near as hard as working in a body shop.
Oh, yeah. John seems like one of the most laid back dudes too. I met him at
he's so laid back.
He's just like
just everybody to make money. You know what I mean? He's crazy, dude. He's we get along really well. He's funny, man. He's always got like, I got this idea. We're gonna do a Dent Daddy tour 2025. We're just gonna go around and fix. We're just gonna bring a team in, go here, go, just kind of like network. The network. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's always great ideas. You know what I mean?
Enjoy it, brother. Have a good night.
So,
see you, man.
But yeah. So then it was once that I started getting screwed over in the shop, it was like, that's it, I'm done. We're done. So then we just started like, hey, John, you don't have to schedule stuff for Fridays or Saturdays. Just schedule for all week, and I'll just call out. I just won't show up. Because nowadays they don't fire body men. You know what I mean? Because you can't get any. Right, so whatever they had, they just put up with it, and it's like, all right, are you going to work? And I'm like, nope, right? I'm done. So and that's how.
Depends on who's got the best drugs.
Yeah, and the body man now is like, you can't do drugs, just on work. So, not while you're in the shop.
Body men in Florida are horrible. So I'm going to catch a lot of flack for that, but they're horrible, dude.
And there's PDR techs. There's good ones and bad ones. There's some really good body men that give a shit, and there's some hacks that's just going to chew shit up. Yeah. Don't care.
So how long you been married?
I've been married 27 wonderful years.
Awesome.
27. Yes, it's been 27 years. Yeah, I got two.
You're probably the first guest we've had on that knew the answer just like that. Yeah. I'm proud of you.
Did we say that again?
I said you're probably our first guest that's ever known the answer to that question just like that.
Been married 27 years, and listen. So we got married when we got married, and we got married like the day before bow season started in Maryland. So that's how I always remembered our anniversary. September 14th is our anniversary. So that's how I remember it. So yeah, we've been together 27 years. Awesome. And as we get older, it's a little harder for each of us to remember it. Like, we're like, how long is it? And how old's Cheyenne? And, and like, so yeah, so I have two girls. There she is. I answered correctly, right? You don't get to be married. You don't get to be married 27 years without having.
It's all right. We prepped him before the show. So
all these answers have been written down.
Yeah, right. She knows that. So we're each other's rock. Yeah.
Like so two daughters. How old are they?
Two daughters. We got 20, 27, and 24. 3 years apart. So, and that also
married 27 years, got a 27-year-old.
Okay. Yeah. See, you're good enough already. Right? You're good enough, right? That's how I got into bodywork, right? Like listen, I went to private school, right, growing up, and nobody wanted me to go. Like, you're not going to do bodywork, But I tried college; it just wasn't for me. You know what I mean? It was like I'm gonna say it. I was stupid. Like, I just wanted to screw around. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would sit in the courtyard. All my friends were going to class, and I was just hanging out. Smoking cigarettes and bullshitting with whoever was out there that wasn't going to class, and they were just gonna do something. Go drink or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just it was like a month and a half in, and I just like, that was it. I'm done. I just stopped going, and then so I just went to work. So I worked in like machinery plants. My uncle was a machinist. So give me a job in a machinery plant. In the welding department. So just did like stuff that, you can't move out, you can barely make enough to live on. So you gotta live at home. And so I just did that. And then she wrapped up ready to have a baby. And it was like, so we got married, and it was my mom said, "Hey, there's a body shop hiring," and that's how I started. I was I was a painter's helper, and like before I think it was '94, I think, and I think after Christmas time, he had a crackhead body man. He just stopped showing up. And the owner was like, "Hey, you're out here with me." And I was like, "Huh? What?" He said, "Yeah, you're gonna learn how to do body work." I was like, "Okay." And you want to talk about caveman? Like, I'm glad to say I didn't stay there, but for 3 months, because there was the guy that I learned body work from was a really good body man, and he was like, "When are you gonna come work for me?" And he had gone to another independent shop, so I went up going with him and training with him, and that's how I went up in it. So yeah, but.
Man, I was in high school.
yeah, 51. Yes, 51. So
I graduated in '98. So yeah,
y'all are old. I graduated in 2000.
Well, see, I got married in 2000, so with me, it's easy remembering how many years because whatever year it is. October.
I graduated in '90.
Goodness,
a long time. Yeah,
right.
And I graduated from really nice, like I said, really nice private school. And there I was fixing cars. And, I mean, it provided a great, you just like, if you can get used to living week to week, being a flat rate body man, what I mean? Like I said, if you're not fast, what I mean? That's kind of the way it goes. You kind of got to deal with it. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest, it causes a lot of arguments. Monies can always be an issue, especially when you're trying to raise 2 kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
trust me, I wish I'd have known how to do this or learned about this back when I was that age. But I mean, I was one of those. I never would quit any job.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was just, it was I was ready. It was like you need to get your ass to work, right? Doesn't matter if you're going to work all week and you're only going to get 20 hours because they're screwing you over. You still went to work. You still got some kind of a paycheck. You still put food on the table or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was tough. And
I wasn't much on quitting, but I was really good at getting fired for dumb shit.
So I got fired from the GMC dealership that they told me I was missing too much time, but I was there 7.5 years. I worked right down the street from Ryan Schutt. Ryan Schutt lived in the same neighborhood, and I called him like as soon as they fired me. Like I just come back from Florida, and I had a doctor's appointment in the morning, and I showed up. I showed up at like 8:30, and like the car was pulled out of my stall that I was working on. I was like, what's going on? And the parts guy was like all scared and was like giving me like, you need to go to the office and find out. And I'm like, all right. So I called my wife. I said, I just got fired. I didn't even talk to anybody. I knew. I just got fired. She's like, what? I said, I came in and the car's out of my stall. I said, and the parts guy was acting real weird. So I walked down to the office and even the manager was scared to tell me. And so he was like, you're we gotta let you go. You're missing too much time. I was like, wait, what? I've been working. I was working like 6 days a week, 7 days a week for 14-hour days. Like I was, I said, all that I work for you. That doesn't. He's like, no. Whoa. I said, whatever. Have fun. So I walked out of the shop, and they tried to follow me up to the lot. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, no. You had your say. I'm done. Good luck.
Yeah.
So that body shop's closed up now, right? And the dealership. But I called Ryan. I was like, hey man, I just got fired. Do you think you could put me to work? You know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, come on down. So I went down and was, doing subcontract work going out. It was just this couple used car lots that he had with the guy that worked with him. So I was just running around town with him for a while, just to make ends meet. And at that point, I'd already said, I'm done in Pennsylvania. I'm ready to move to Florida. And me and my wife had, were discussing it. And so I went through and it's kind of like, we was redoing a bunch of stuff in the house, and then we changed our mind because you didn't want to go, and and that happens, you know what I mean? Because it's all scary decision.
It's all scary,
absolutely.
You've been in a body shop for so long; it's scary just to jump out, and because up to that point, I never had anybody over my shoulder telling me like, "Yeah, your PDR works good. It's good enough to take in there was a lot of people telling me that, but there was never anybody that, that looked over my shoulder and was like, yeah, it's good. You'll definitely make it. Oh, you could just get out and hustle. Matt Boyette told me that. Matt was like, just go, dude, go and hustle. Like, he's like, that's the only way you're going to get out there. And I think it was last year at MTE. I was like, I give myself a year and a half. So I made it to like a year and 2 months, and then I was going to go. I talked to Jim Mitchell about going just to come out and get like some confidence training. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then the doctor bills started showing up from the hospital visit. So I kind of put a mix on that, like, and I still plan, I feel like I should do that. I mean, I'm not against any kind of training. You know what I mean? It's just like, it only makes you better. I mean, they do it in the body shop. Exactly. Yeah. So.
Well, you're getting the best training being on the Hell Trail with some good tech and stuff.
Me and my wife had a long discussion about this because it was like, look, I'm going to be away. You know what I mean? It's like, but let me fix dents every day, all day long. I mean, that's the only way I'm going to get any better at it. And
and you're watching those good techs that have been out there for a long time. Just watching somebody in person, you can pick up on a lot. So
well, I do. That's why I sneak up behind them. And I'm watching. It's just like
go
it's weird how right. Just sitting behind here, just sneaking and peeking to see.
Just getting little tips and tricks on certain things. That just helps so much.
Yeah,
it's like anything, any kind of industry you're in. Just say you're a mechanic, you're doing an oil change. And you've been taught one way all your life, and this guy's flying through them over here, and you wonder, I'll just do this different.
Right.
And it speeds up, But
right. Well, he'll grab me. I was like, "Hey, come here. I'll show you something." I'm not a big fan of glue pulling, especially rails. You know what I mean? And I'm trying. You know what I mean? It's like
I love it.
So I had to I wear contacts. And I got a special pair of glasses made so I could not have, like, I'm leaning my head back so I can see out of the bottom of my glasses. So I have a pair of glasses that have the bifocal in the top, and they use them in postal workers use them for letter sorters so they can look up. So I had a pair of them made. What a big difference, you know what I mean? So I'm not going like this to look across the town. I can just look down, and my neck's not all contorted all day long. Awesome. And it's helped. I mean, it was
Yeah,
and they weren't expensive. They were like $180. They just check your to see what kind of power you need in them, and they have them made. And that was like probably one of the best purchases I made this year. Yeah, this year. And
well, that helps on the wear and tear of the body right there.
Yeah. And, I mean,
yeah.
So it kind of helped with being able to look down that rail and see it. But then John, because everybody's tall. Like, I'm 5'8". Everybody, you guys are tall too, right? So it's like they just walk by and they're like a head taller than the roof and they can see things. And it's like, come here. And he's got his, he's got one in Kiko extended with the knockdown on it in his pad. And he's like, well, I'm just going to do a little bit here and a little bit here and a little bit here, and you'll see how that. Because it's like no sense of him doing it unless he shows me. I don't know what he's seeing compared to what I see, and then he points it out, and he gets that light back really far, and okay, and I get it, you know what I mean? And it's so
cool.
So I'm trying to just stick with it.
You got this.
I think you're talking Stefan into
he's ready for the Hell Trail.
Do it.
I mean, anything. I mean, when you
super tall.
Especially like you're like me. You've got a family. You've got all these people that are relying on you and your income. It's scary, but you know that when you jump out there, you're going to give it everything you have to make it work, to get better, and to make ends meet, and it just builds from there.
There's no giving up. I mean, there's no giving up. And that was another. That's what led to it. Like, we had. What was it? I've been out here since June. So by April, May. So I think it was like April or May or whatever. And it was like, we were doing, he had a couple, he's like, I got a hail car. Like, hey, all right. Yeah, I'll do it. I don't care, And it wasn't smashed like this this Texas stuff, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of it on this car, right? So I was like, I would just stay until 9, 10 at night, work all day, and I get there early in the morning and work and just stay on until it was done. And then there was another. It's like, hey, I need you to go here and do that. I was like, okay, just do that. And then you got another one. And then a customer of mine, referred one of their friends. They got hit in South Carolina, North Carolina. There was some hail, and it was all over their Subaru. And I just said, take it to John, and let him do it, and I'll just do it through John's. And then I don't, because I don't have any. I'm mobile, right? So. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm not going to tear all this car apart in your garage. You're not going to want that. So just take it to John, and we'll do it through his shop. And once I did, it was like 4 hail jobs, and that afforded me. It was like, all right, I've done made more money in probably 20 days or whatever, or a week, a month and a half working with John. Just helping him out and doing that stuff. And I'm like, it's a no-brainer anymore. You know what I mean? It's like I had 6 months of working at the body shop, and I'd already made more with John, right? So I just kind of like, okay, we're going to go chase hail. And he's like, hey, I got a call to go to Texas. If you want to go, I'll go. And I was like, sure, man. So and I just bought everything, bought what I needed. Just didn't hesitate. Just ordered stuff from Manson and got it delivered. Another Stucky light, and out the door we went. Packed the truck up.
Kind of watch your journey through Facebook, and you just jumping in and stuff. Like, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
I do that. I'll do that. Now this, it took a big build up to do that, but it was, once there was somebody that looked at my work and was like, and it wasn't until like when I moved to Florida, I was started at a Gerber, right? Because you move and you can't, you can't buy a house, so you got to have a job, right? So Gerber was like, yeah, we'll give you a commitment letter. So when you move down, you have a job. Okay, great. Get down there. They had hail. We got hail right away, right? Well, they wouldn't put me on as a vendor to take and do anything because they use High Tech and PDR links. So we had High Tech in there and PDR links, and the two guys from PDR links, Mike Berg and Terry Holbrook, they were there. And I was like, it's like, hey, they're like, hey, can you got this tool or whatever? And I was never that body man that would all blow body dust in the PDR guys' direction, which I was a recipient of that not too long ago. So I thought it was pretty funny. Because the PDR is interesting to me, right? So like I'm gonna help you out. If you need me to take something apart for you, I'll take it apart. So they were doing stuff, and if they were rolling out and they had something to be put back together, I did it. And but the other guys, they were kicking hoods, and I was just fixing them. I was just taking them because they were bringing them to me to do the push the paints, and so I was like on my lunch break, I'd be fixing aluminum hoods, and then I just asked those guys like, hey, can you just check see when the work is? So they were like, yeah, dude, it's good. Where's your business cards, right? I'm like, I don't have just move down here, right?
I'm new.
So it kind of solidified everything. By that point, it was just like, it's not. We're just kind of waiting to, buy a house. So I didn't have to go through all the bull crap. Like, well, you work for yourself for what, 2 months? Like we can't, you can't get a loan for the bank. So play a game, and work in the body shop until it was time to go. And then meeting John was probably the best thing, right? And it was like, you're good.
Definitely was the best thing. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, I'm ready. Let's go. I'm gonna go. So, but it's tough. It's still tough being away from home. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Not gonna lie. It's it'd be better if they could bring them out. But like I said, earlier, it's like, that my daughter's kind of, iffy. It's kind of have to send my wife to the airport with her. It'd be kind of touch and go. So I never know how that's gonna end up. So we kind of, I'll just fly. It's 2 hours, I think, when I catch a flight to Allegiant or whatever and go back to Orlando, and then she just picks me up. Spend a couple of days there. So
yeah, it's tough, but it's not a forever thing.
I
know, talking about situation and all that, it makes it even tougher. But it takes a strong woman to stay home, man. and be away and take care of everything at home. My wife had to do it when our oldest ones were. I mean, I was in New Orleans for 2 years after Katrina, and my son was born 6 months, into that.
Jeez.
That tour, I call it, because it felt like freaking Afghanistan over there or something. But yeah, it just, man, my wife was a freaking beast for all them years, almost 8 years of traveling and me 7 days a week. It was crazy, man. And I swore up and down I would never travel again once I came back, and I didn't. But then COVID hit, and I got a call to go to Oklahoma on the Hell Trail. I'm like, I'll go for 3 weeks. I'll come back a week. I'll go for 3. And I'll keep doing that until they don't need me anymore. So
right,
6 weeks out there, and I was back. And
I've been trying to get his ass up here for a couple of weeks, and he can't get him come off of it.
Can't, man. I mean, even when
you can call us, man. We'll come.
Even when it gets slow, like when you have a shop, a location, even when it gets slow for a week, and you're like, okay, well, start freaking out. What the heck's going on? And even when you've been booked out for 2-3 weeks,
right.
And then all of a sudden, like this week, I mean, I had 2 jobs booked, and I've done tons and tons of estimates that we haven't gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And like I didn't have anything for tomorrow and Friday, and I had one of these that was waiting on an antenna for his roof before I do the job, because I've got to drop the headliner anyway. It's not a hail,
right?
A tree hit it, and I mean, why drop it, put the antenna, and then come back and drop it again? And
right.
So I just waited. So he emailed last night, hey, I've got the antenna. When how soon can you do it? I can do it tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow I'll have it ready by Friday.
Breaking the schedule.
Yeah. So, I mean, and if I'd have just left, that's always in the back of my head. As soon as I leave, it picks up. When I went to Oklahoma, dude, it was like, and this was before I was fully in the shop. All my car lots that I had that weren't selling anything, as soon as I leave and go, I mean, where you at? I'm like, sorry, dude.
Hell, I go to my body shop. One of my body shops to do a dent, and man is like, "Oh my god!" Like the bottom fell out of the shop. I'm like,
you're here.
We're gone 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm horrible with advertising. I only advertise just Facebook posts. I don't, and everything has been kind of word of mouth, and people are like, "Oh, that's great. Just give me cards." I'll hand out some cards, and
it's so the best advertisement.
Yeah, and I still get calls. I don't get like all of a sudden I'll get like 3 or 4 calls in 1 week, and then it'll go like a week or 2 and I won't hear anything. But I'm like, yeah, I'm in Texas now. So where are you at? Where are you located? If they're north of me, and I think he's in and out chasing hail too. So I'll message him, and say, see if he's in town, he can do it, or I get tired of. I'm not doing it. I don't want to do any more big stuff anymore. Like I'm done trying to be the hero. It sucks trying to do that shit mobile, and try. I like, hey, let me call somebody, and I call Matt. Like he's got, hey, would you be interested in, in this one? And I'll just pass it on. I don't know, if they're prosperous for, if they make an appointment with him or not. But, I'm like, he's right here in St. Augustine. He's got a shop. And if they're south of me, then John's partner, Brent, is, he's there. And then we just send them to him. And if they're further than that, we send them to, I tell them to call Vincent. You know what I mean? It depends. Like, you do this, you do that. And I said, no, but the guy in Port Orange does. There's plenty of work out there.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be, man. You're trying to help each other and connecting with all the other dent guys around you, all those who will. It just builds it up, man.
Yeah.
And it's not like a body shop when every little body tech, I'm not getting this,
Right.
You're gonna have those techs around you, the cheap ones who do crappy work, and
they're out there.
They're hungry. They need.
I did that in Maryland. So I wasn't going to do it down here, and I didn't. And, you do like everybody else, you start listening to all these podcasts and like business models and stuff like that. I'm horrible with it. My wife is probably going to have to take up, because I still want to do retail like in the off season. and just to keep me busy doing something. I mean, I can't fish every day. Maybe I don't know. I would.
Depends on how much money you make out there on the trail.
I don't know. It takes a lot to feed that boat. It's got 3 motors.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, but so like have her do the background stuff and just stick with retail in my general area, and then I don't have to worry about driving.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, this is good money. Like this is better money than I've ever made. And I like doing it. Like I like fixing little dents, and so
the good thing is that these hailstorms keep going further and further south. I mean, we got hit 3 years in a row, actually 4 years in a row now.
Right.
Florida's gotten hit, 2
They
years
got hit
in a row.
The first year I moved there, and then they got hit last year.
Yeah. So I mean, it's getting further. So once you have that and you're back home, you're like, I'm not going to chase hail right now.
Right.
We can do it all at home. So anyway, well, man, it's been a great show.
Yeah.
We're just over that hour.
Yeah, it was good talking to you guys.
Andy's over here.
I'm dying.
It
only gets worse, Andy.
Our electricity last night kept flickering on and off, and if it had just stayed off all night, I'd have been good. But it everything beat every 2 seconds. It killed me, so I'm dead right now.
The older you get, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Like
as long as my electricity stays on, I'm good.
You can get up early. But staying up past 9 o'clock is hard.
Oh yeah, I've been up 4 o'clock this morning. That's average for me anymore. So
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, Adam,
cool,
man, it was great having you on, brother.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch and stuff. But appreciate everybody that watched tonight and commented. We will not have a show next week. Andy is taking a well-deserved vacation, and so we will hopefully have one the week after. We'll let y'all know. But yep, definitely. we always love hell in our own home. Besides Andy,
I do, man. They're just I don't know. It gets stressful real fast.
It's when you can go and you can just push. It's one thing, and that's what hell chasers love when they can go out there. It's when you have to run everything, and that's when all the headaches you have to deal with all the insurance companies, and
we're doing our own R&I. Yeah, it's
that I don't mind that at all.
I don't mind it. Like I don't mind it, but I thought I was like, oh, it'd be great. I don't have to do any of that, but yeah, we're doing it, so it's not a big deal. But
yeah,
I'll just strip a car down real quick.
Well, I'm gonna put us in the back room. We're gonna end the show, and we'll say our goodbyes in just a minute. But appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all maybe in 2 weeks. Who knows?
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.